Hello, my name is Sandra Danzru, and I'm going to be presenting to you the respiratory system among three different types of organisms that belong to different phylum. So I'm going to be comparing and contrasting the mussels, which are part of the phylum Mollusca, the sea star, which is part of the phylum Echinodermata, and the crawfish, which belongs to the phylum Arthropoda. Okay, so I will begin with the mussels. So right here in figure 1, we can see it shows the anatomy of a mussel. Number 1 is labeled as the mantle, and number 2 as the gills. And these two structures are vital to the respiratory system. And these two perform gas exchange, and it's important to note that they both contain cilia. So not only are they able to perform gas exchange with water that flows in, but the cilia is able to collect the food in order for the food to be passed up to the digestive glands. And looking at this image here, we can see inhaled water goes through the ingestive siphon, and this is a tube-like structure that allows the water to be inhaled, and then the water can leave through the egestive siphon. And this is the same kind of tube, but it allows the water to be exhaled. So we can see the water, food particles are present, so this allows the cilia to get the food in order to be passed on to the digestive glands. So looking at the mantle right here, this is a structure that it's basically a dorsal body wall, and it covers the visceral mass, and it sort of protrudes out of the mussel, which gives it more surface area to perform this gas exchange with the water. And so gills is a structure found on number 2, and mussels have two pairs of gills. That's very important to note. They have an outer right gill and an inner right gill. And they have primarily three functions. The first one is they provide respiration by performing this gas exchange with the water. And they also filter feeding, because the gills move particles to the mouth with the cilia. And in addition, the gills in females incubate baby mussels, which was very interesting. Okay, now we will talk about the adult sea star, which belongs to the phylum Echinodermata. So in the sea star, right here we can see we have a structure called the madreporite. The structure is a porous calcareous plate, and it is found on the arboreal surface of the disc. So the arboreal is the top of the sea star, and it primarily takes in water to replenish the water system. So this is very important because it is like a gateway from the outside environment to the inside water system. Once the water enters the sea star through the madreporite, it goes through a canal found right here, and then each radial canal extends this system to each arm of the sea star. And this allows the movement of water to occur throughout the sea star. This allows each individual tube foot to be able to absorb oxygen from the water that's flowing throughout the radial canals. So these structures are very important in order for each arm to obtain the oxygen needed. So this is the respiratory system of the starfish, which is basically driven by the water system of it as well. So now I will mention the crawfish, which is part of the phylum Arthropoda. So right here we can see the gills found on the side of the body of the crawfish, and these gills have the same function as the ones found in the mussels. The gills for the crawfish, they gather oxygen for the organism, and they're found on the side of the body, and they're also found on the bottom of each leg. So this gives a lot more surface area for the gills to be able to perform gas exchange for the body. Also, as the water enters the organism, these gills provide sort of a gateway for the water to exit the body, at the same time absorbing this oxygen from the water to be able to pass this on to the bloodstream of the crawfish. So These are the 3 different organisms I chose. The things I found in common was that they all rely on the movement of water throughout their body. And the structures that rely on this movement of water in order to obtain the oxygen from the water is gills and the mantle for the muscles, and the gills found in the feet and the side of the body for the crawfish. And it's different for the sea star, as they rely on the radial canal and the ring canal to pass down the water throughout the 2 feet, which later then absorb the oxygen from the water. In addition to these 2 characteristics, I found that they all have an open system because they do not rely on veins or some kind of closed system. For the mussels, it's just water flowing throughout the body. It goes into the digestive siphon, comes out through the egestive siphon. For the starfish, it goes into the madreporite, and then it just flows through the canals, and it can exit the body. And for the crawfish, it enters the body through the mouth, and the water can flow out through the gills. Looking at all of these organisms, we can see that they rely heavily on the flow of water in order to perform this gas exchange with the water and absorb oxygen. They all have these sort of open systems because the water just flows throughout the body. One can say they go with the flow perhaps because they rely on such movement of water. So this is my comparison between the mussels, sea star, and crawfish, and looking at their respiratory systems and how water is very heavily important to these organisms in order to obtain oxygen and food particles in some cases. So this is it. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good day.